we continue our discussion of the war history of India on this Kargil Vijay Diwas. So far, we saw the most important wars in Indian history. The first, that is after independence. After independence, as we know, we had the 1947 war with Pakistan. Thereafter, of course, we had the war in 1962. Thereafter, we had the war in 1965, and of course, we had the war in 1971. And now we have, of course, the Siachen War. Siachen War we have in the 1980s. We have the Siachen conflict. It's not a war, in fact, but it's a conflict, and this conflict, the Siachen conflict, continues for almost 10 years. From 1980s, it began and it continued till 2003, and it is again between, of course, Pakistan and India. And India won because the decision of the United Nations was in favor of India, and of course two-third of the Pakistan, Jammu and Kashmir just was given to India, and because of that reason, of course, right, we can believe that we won that Siachen conflict as well. And thereafter, okay, other than the wars with Pakistan, we had one more war, that is, of course, the it is not with China again, it is not with Pakistan, but it is not a war as such, but India is helping another country. And now that Indian army, Indian defense is, Indian armed force is involved, we can say that this is also a war in the history of India, because now that Indian government is helping the Sri Lankan government, and Indian army is in Sri Lanka fighting with the LTTE is attacking India, and that is the problem. And of course, we had a lot of problems. We lost some defense people, defense personnel. There were, of course, deaths, and of course, we had a lot of setbacks. I don't want to speak about the political aspect of that war of the Sri Lankan war, in which, of course, the Sri Lankan civil war between, of course, the Sri Lankan army and the LTT, and of course the Indian involvement of 1987 and 1990. And but we have to understand the fact that we had lost a lot of Indian army men, the armed for personnel, a lot of commissioned officers as well as soldiers, right, in that war. And now we come to the most significant war, that is, of course, the Kargil war, which we are celebrating. Rather, we are observing the Kargil day, this particular day. That is, of course, 26 July 2020. So, 1999 March, Pakistan soldiers began to just trespass into Indian territory. And that district of Jammu and Kashmir, the Kargil district of Jammu and Kashmir, was under, to a certain extent, the control of. There were so many bunkers, trenches, etc., which were, of course, constructed by the Pakistani soldiers. And Pakistan never said that it is Pakistan soldiers, but they said that it is militants, but in fact they were all Pakistani soldiers. And the Indian army during the Kargil war and even after the Kargil war caught and killed and butchered number of Pakistani militants or the soldiers, and from their ID cards and their witnesses we understood that they were all real soldiers of Pakistan. 1999 March onwards, the infiltration began, and Indians, because of that particular the peculiar kind of climate of that area, the peculiar climate and geographical position of that area in Kargil district of Jammu and Kashmir, we could not know about the infiltration very early. But some Indian shepherds who were just walking around that way with their sheep came across the stay of the Pakistan army there, and it was informed to the Indian army, and the Indian army interfered, because the leadership of the country is very important. Only a leader can make right decisions, and the then Prime Minister of India, the then President of India, and the then Chief of Army of India, Prime Minister, it was, of course, Honorable Atal Bihari Vajpayee. President Honorable K.R. Narayan, and the Chief of Army Lieutenant General Chandra. These three together just decided that we have to retaliate, we have to get back the lost property, we have to, of course, just burn these militants or the intruders. And the Indian Army, the officers of the Indian Army, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Chandra, there was a terrible war, and the war continued. We lost a lot of, right, we of course casualties, we had plenty of casualties. Soldiers died, to be very precise, in every war, in all the wars from 1947, 47, 48 war, 1990, 1962, 65 war, 71 war, 80 Siachen conflict, and in the Sri Lankan war, and in 1990 Kargil war. All the wars we lost. And that war with China, that Indo-China war of 1962, the casualty was very much in Indian side. And now in Kargil war, we lost 500 plus Indian soldiers. To be very precise, in the records we see that 527. And the loss, of course, Pakistan also had a big loss. They lost more than 1,000 soldiers of Pakistani army. And now, today, my dear friends, respected officers, the other day I was speaking to Colonel Jaydeep Sharma, the commanding officer of 30 Kerala Battalion, and sir was expressing a kind of sorrow that was about the reluctance of youngsters of today to join the army, the armed forces. You, the cadets of different colleges of Kozikode in 30 Kerala Battalion, please see that the life we live must be lived in a worthwhile way. And Colonel Jaydeep Sharma was the other day just asking me, how many from your troop joined the Indian Army last 3 years when I was here? Not many joined from my troop, not many joined from, of course, the other troops. And my dear cadets, my dear students, my dear youngsters, a life which is of course live for the country, a life lived for the country is the noblest life. My country, my religion, my country, my heaven, my country, my mother. That should be our attitude. And my young brothers and sisters, you get a chance to join Indian Army, you get a chance to join the defense of the country, the Army, Navy, or Air Force. Just work for it. Be very, very sincere in your NCC activities. Work hard for all the recruitments of officers and soldiers, and get enrolled, get recruited. Be an officer in Indian Army, be an officer in the Indian Air Force, be an officer in Indian Navy. At least be a soldier and live your life for the country. That way we can bring meaning to our life. And once something happens and you die for the country, there are thousands of soldiers and thousands of officers who die for the country, and they become heroes. They are not just heroes, they are martyrs. We remember them as martyrs, we honor them. And today, Kargil Vijay Diwas, 26 July 2020, Kargil Vijay Diwas, we honor them. The President of India, the Prime Minister of India, all the other ministers of India just pay homage. We are all paying homage to those noble souls, those great heroes, those great martyrs who live for the country, who pay for our freedom. Freedom is free for us, but it is not free. Freedom we enjoy is being paid by the defense personnel. And now all those heroes who are no more with their family, all those heroes who are no more with their wives, fathers, mothers, and children, and of course friends and countrymen like you and I, they are being remembered as heroes, and we just respect them. Now, today, all those candles burning in India Gate, Amar Jawan Jyoti, all those flowers being just spread in honor of these people in Amar Jawan Jyoti. Okay, that fragrance that come, that great flame and grace and shining, dazzling rays that come from that particular Amar Jawan Jyoti. That is the energy, that is the spirit, that is the soul of those people, those great officers and soldiers who live for the country. Let us salute them. Let us keep our palms on the chest and promise unto them and ourselves and the country that I will live my life for my country. I will always protect India. India is my country. I respect my country. I live for my country. My heart beats for my country. That should be our attitude. Once again, I just convey my greetings to each of you this Kargil Vijay Diwas. Let us just respect and honor our martyrs and heroes. May God bless India. May God bless each of us. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.